Elizabeth and Richard had always been at odds. From the moment they entered middle school, they were locked in a fierce academic rivalry. Elizabeth was known for her sharp intellect and unyielding dedication, while Richard was celebrated for his quick wit and clever problem-solving. The competition was relentless, with each trying to outdo the other at every turn. Their enmity was so well known that the peers often made jokes about their friendly rivalry, though it never felt very friendly to either of them. Foul words were exchanged whenever the paths crossed, and the tension between them was palpable. They were each other's greatest rivals, and their academic achievements were constantly compared. Despite their antagonism, neither could deny a grudging respect for the other's abilities. The rivalry took an unexpected turn during a school excursion in the final year of high school. The trip, organized as a way for the entire class to strengthen the friendships and enjoy a shared experience, was meant to be a memorable and unifying event. However, for Elizabeth and Richard, who had a long-standing competitive streak between them, it quickly became just another opportunity to outdo each other. As the students gathered and chatted with excitement while boarding the bus, eager to explore the historical site they were about to visit, Elizabeth and Richard's rivalry added an extra layer of tension to the otherwise cheerful atmosphere. During the excursion, the students were given plenty of time to wander around and explore the historical site on their own, and the teachers stayed with the students as they explored. Meanwhile, the students left the backpacks and personal items on the bus, trusting that the possessions would be safe. Richard, who had asthma and relied on his inhaler for managing his condition, had inadvertently forgotten to bring it with him. What initially seemed like a small and inconsequential mistake was about to escalate into a serious issue, as Richard's asthma could soon become problematic without his inhaler. As the day continued and the hours passed, Richard started to experience the early signs of an asthma attack. At first, he noticed a mild shortness of breath and a slight tightness in his chest, which seemed manageable. However, these initial symptoms gradually intensified and became more severe. With increasing alarm, Richard came to the distressing realization that his inhaler, a crucial item for managing his asthma, was in his backpack, which had been left on the bus. The bus was parked at a considerable distance from where the students were currently exploring, adding to his growing sense of urgency and fear. Elizabeth noticed Richard's distress from a distance. She had been enjoying the excursion, but the sight of Richard struggling was alarming. The usual scorn she felt toward him was replaced by a sudden concern. Without hesitation, she darted back toward the bus. She found the bus empty, the seats still warm from where the students had been sitting. She quickly located Richard's bag and, after a brief search, retrieved the inhaler. Her heart pounded rapidly in her chest as she hurriedly made her way back to Richard, who was now clearly struggling to breathe and gasping for air. Elizabeth approached him with a determined and anxious demeanor, understanding the seriousness of the situation. Without wasting any time, she reached into her own bag, pulled out Richard's inhaler, and extended it toward him with both hands. "Richard, here," she said urgently, her voice filled with concern. "You need to use this right away." Richard's eyes widened in surprise. "Elizabeth, I didn't expect you to." "Just use it," she interrupted, her voice firm. "You're going to be okay." He took the inhaler and managed to inhale the medication. As the medication began to work, Richard's breathing slowly returned to normal. His initial relief was soon replaced by embarrassment. He had never been one to ask for help, much less from someone he had clashed with so often. "Thank you," Richard said quietly, his voice hoarse. "I'm sorry for everything. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Elizabeth smiled, a genuine, soft smile. "Don't worry about it. We're all human. Let's just focus on enjoying the rest of the day." From that moment on, the relationship between Elizabeth and Richard began to change. As they continued to spend time together during the excursion, they found themselves talking more openly and honestly with each other. The incident with Richard's asthma had unexpectedly brought them closer, fostering a new sense of connection and empathy between them. They started to share more about their personal lives, exchanging stories and discussing their interests. Through these conversations, they discovered that they had more in common than they had ever known, finding mutual interests and experiences that surprised them both. By the time the excursion ended, Elizabeth and Richard had developed a newfound respect and friendship. They continued to study together, the sessions marked by mutual encouragement rather than rivalry. They supported each other through the remaining challenges of the senior year, the bond growing stronger with each passing day. Graduation approached, and the two of them were inseparable. The friendship had blossomed into something deeper, a romantic relationship that neither had anticipated. The rivalry that once defined their interactions had evolved into a partnership built on trust and affection. Elizabeth and Richard graduated from college together, their academic achievements now shared victories rather than personal conquests. The journey from rivals to friends, and eventually to partners, had transformed them in ways they hadn't thought possible. Looking back, they both marveled at how a single, unexpected event had changed their lives. The excursion, which had once seemed like just another school trip, had become the turning point in the relationship. The story was a testament to the idea that sometimes, it takes a moment of vulnerability to bring people closer and to reveal the true depth of the character. In the end, the journey from being fierce competitors to becoming life partners served as a powerful reminder that even the most intense rivalries can transform into something meaningful and lasting. What started as a contentious relationship, filled with challenges and competition, gradually changed as they grew closer and understood each other better. Through the shared experiences and personal growth, the bond deepened, leading to a strong and loving partnership. The story illustrated how adversaries can evolve into supportive and committed partners, highlighting the potential for beauty and enduring connection even in the midst of conflict.